Hey, it's Kevin DeWitt here, and welcome to another tip, trick, or technique session. In this session, we're going to have a look at adding tambourine to snare hits. So firstly, if you are new to my channel and new to my videos and you like what you see, please click the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell to be notified of all my future videos. So adding tambourine to a snare hit. Why? What am I talking about? Okay, it's a very common technique, and you may be aware of it, you may not. Now, if you're not aware of it, you may not have even noticed that it is in a song, and you'll probably realize once you know this technique, and I show it to you, how many songs it's probably used on. Now, when I say adding it, what we're going to do is we're adding it in a way that it enhances the snare, but it doesn't really stand out as a tambourine. It sounds like you've enhanced the snare drum. Okay, and it's sort of hard to explain right here like this, but so probably best we just get into it. I'll show you how it's done and you can actually hear it for yourself. The art of this trick or technique is to blend the tambourine into the point where you don't realize it's really there. And what it does is it takes a normal snare hit and just brings it up a little bit extra, so it gives it a little bit more power, but it gives it that little top end sort of sizzle as you would expect from a tambourine because it's a very high pitched sort of sound. And it enforces the snare and creates it to come out a lot more and be a lot more brighter and have a lot more impact. Now, where you might find that you would generally do it is you might say that 3/4 of the song is just playing along normally with the snare, and the last chorus you want to go for some extra impact. You want to get that last chorus to be bigger and more powerful than the rest, and just change things up a little bit. So you might add that tambourine hit to that last chorus to be hit on every snare, just so that it sounds different and it sounds bigger. So depending on your snare hits, now I'm not talking about putting tambourines on snare fills or anything like that. I'm talking about just doing it on the beat when the snare hits. So I'll give you an example here. So we've just got this song here and it's just got some drums going. So we could get fancy with this and we could get some drum replacement plugins and tools and things like that. But really, if you're doing it for small sections and things like that, the easiest approach to this is just to do it manually. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to basically add an audio track here, give it a name. And I'm going to send it to our drum bus because that's where our drums go. And I'll just make it stereo at the moment because I'm not sure what I'm going to grab. And what we need to find is the tambourine. Now, you can obviously record your own tambourines. You can go and look for samples of tambourines. You can cut them from other songs, things like that. So in Cubase, and most DAWs are going to have it, we are going to have some sort of samples. So I'm just going to type in here and I'm going to find a tambourine. Simple tambourine there. You know, you can sample as many tambourines as you want, find one that suits. But really what we want is just something with a single hit. And this one will do here. And I'm going to take it and I'm going to drag it onto our audio file here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually duplicate this a few times. Now I'm just going to get rid of this window. So you can do whatever is the easiest way for you to do this in your DAW, but let's just find where we want to start. Obviously ignore that. Okay, so I'm going to start there. Just going to drag some of these back. And the interesting thing is with the placement of this song and how it was laid out, we are actually, the snare seemed to be hitting one beat after the bar. Now, that's not from placement, that's just obviously where this song has been placed on the timeline for this song. So you can see it's a little bit tedious, but it's not that big a job. Now, a better way to do this could have been to, let's delete those. So let's just say we've got this selection here. I could then copy and paste. Where the hell? So I could copy and paste it with that gap and just line it up to the beat, and bang, we're done. We've got a few extras here we don't need, so we can delete those. And you can see we've done that. So that's probably the best idea to do it. Just lay out a couple of bars there, and then just copy and paste that layout there. So we've been playing our song. Normal snare. Okay, we missed a beat. That was a little bit silly. So we're just going to go in there, and you'll see I just copied and pasted again, exactly the same pattern, but now what I've done is I've put it in between the beats. Okay, so we've got the tambourine playing on the beat, but obviously it sounds pretty stupid at the moment. So what we need to do now is we need to bring our tambourine down, and we need to find a nice level. So that position there is barely heard. Now, you're probably listening to this and you're probably hearing it quite easily, but that's because you know they're there. You've seen me do this. But so let's listen from this part back here. So you could tweak this down a little bit lower even still, but you can hear the change in the sound of the snare. It's coming in, but it doesn't sound obviously like you've got a tambourine on the track. It sounds more like that the snare has changed sounds. So let's have a listen again, and then partway through this part, I'm going to mute the tambourine and then bring it back in. So you can hear there, it's just adding some extra life to this snare, adding extra texture. And you're probably now seeing what I've done and what you're hearing. You're probably realizing that, yes, you've heard this a lot in songs. It is a very common trick, happens a lot. Quite often do they add tambourines or a shaker to hit at the same time as a snare, just to give it that little bit of extra something on top that the snare can't produce by itself. So let's just go through one more time, have another listen. So there you go. Very simple trick. Easy to do. Just get yourself a sample of a tambourine or record your own. If you want to record your own and you got a tambourine handy, just get it there. Just keep these, if you do record your own, keep these samples handy, for bringing into any song so you don't have to re-record all the time. Store some samples up, keep them. If you don't have the ability to record and your DAW doesn't have this stuff, search online again for free samples. There's plenty of free samples out there that you can get. None of this stuff that I've got here have I paid for, other than what came with the DAW that I paid for. But any samples that I've found, downloaded, whatever, are always free. I've never paid for them. So plenty out there to get of any samples you like. So just search for them and get some free copies, because you only need one tambourine to do this function. You don't need anything special, just one tambourine hit. Duplicate it, put it on your snare, and off you go. So there you go. That is adding tambourine to a snare hit. Let me know what you think of it in the comments. If you have any questions around it, please feel free, again, to ask them in the comments. I'd love to help wherever I can. Again, if you like what you see here, please click the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell to be notified of all my future videos. I really appreciate the support and allows me to continue to make videos like this as much as I can. Hopefully the video has been helpful. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.